system. But the special seats bill, in a nutshell, would add 37 additional women senators and 30 additional women representatives, and then 108 additional women in the state assemblies nationwide. So it's additional special seats bill. So the women aren't running against the men for these. We don't think that would work. That has not worked.
It hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked to date. We've seen, as we were talking earlier, weren't we, Toon, that the women's leadership has declined, actually, with fewer women in Parliament, on the lowest ever in the current National Assembly. So adding additional seats, it's a time-limited intervention. It has a sunset clause. So after 4 electoral cycles, we would hope that this would all be mainstreamed. It would be no longer need to do this. But we felt that the only way to get women into the National Assembly, into these political leadership positions, would be to create special seats for them that wouldn't have them competing with men, that would have their own constituencies. So that's our analysis and why we think this can work.
I really hope this works, because honestly, having 4 female senators, it's not too good for us. And I strongly believe that with a special seats bill, we will get enough women at the National Assembly. So, Gill, beyond legislation, what other factors do you think need to be addressed for us to truly be inclusive in the political space for women in Nigeria?
So these are all really good questions. I just wanted to say, actually, Toon, before moving to that, we know that President Tinubu in Nigeria has got a kind of very far-reaching economic growth agenda, wants to grow Nigeria's economy because prosperity means security, security means prosperity. And he's launched a number of reforms to grow the economy, to create more jobs. And all the evidence is that if you bring women into political life, you get that economic growth. So McKinsey, for example, has researched and found that African economies would grow by 10% of their GDP if more women could be brought into political life. And in Nigeria, the assessment is that the gross domestic product of the country could increase by 10 to 20% by having more women in political life. And when women are involved, also you get better policies around education, healthcare, family welfare, poverty reduction, and more accountability and less corruption. So some really compelling arguments for having women in political life. And there might be some men listening to the radio now. I mean, it's not a dial-in, but shouting. But actually, these things all benefit men and boys as well. These are things that are of national benefit to all people in society. Speaking to your question more specifically, I think there's lots that we can do. We need male allies. We talk a lot about he for she. We need more men in positions of influence. It could be religious or traditional leaders, or it could be actually President Tinubu and his special advisors. Listening in to what's being said here about women's political empowerment and championing the causes. So political change needs to be top down, but also bottom up in terms of what we can do at the grassroots, with the excellent work that you're doing on surveying why women don't vote for women. So I think in terms of he for she, there needs to be she for she as well. Women are each other's biggest critics, and we need to stop being each other's biggest critics, because we can identify with each other and we can support each other in political processes, which takes me to the other point around mentoring, that women really benefit from having mentors, having sponsors, people, male or female, who can encourage them, champion their cause and bring them forward. And then very finally, again, another area that I know that you've done lots of work on, Toon, in women's radio, is on this kind of media image of women. Journalists will ask women questions in a gendered way. What does your husband think of this? Well, that's irrelevant. Why is a woman running for office? And there are some sort of real stereotypes around women being wives and mothers, and objects of sort of sex objects, if you will, and not treated seriously in the political space. And I think that in the mainstream media and in Nollywood, we've got more to do to kind of put the role model of the powerful woman who's can stand on her own 2 feet out there to inspire other women. So those are my initial thoughts on that question.
Thank you very much. I am talking to Her Excellency Gill Lever, British Deputy High Commissioner, right live in the studios of Women Radio 91.7. My name is Toun Okewale Shonaya. Gill, so let me digress and go into education. Many Nigerians see the UK as a top destination for education and work. And of course, we know that many Nigerians are doing great works in the UK. what efforts are being made to improve the visa process? We spoke about this earlier.
We did, and visas always come up. But you're absolutely right. It's marvellous that so many Nigerian young people want to study in the UK, and quite rightly so. We have 17 of the top-ranked universities in the world, and despite the UK's economy representing only 2% of global GDP, so we're a powerhouse when it comes to tertiary education. What I can say is that in the year to September 2024, we issued 177,000 visas to Nigerian people. That's Nigerian nationals who are coming to the UK to work, or to study, or to visit. And so Nigeria is in the top 3 or 4 of countries that apply for visas to the UK. So it's a large number. And we think, based on open sources, that this is we may issue more visas to Nigeria than Nigeria may issue globally. So we're very proud of the number of visas that we issue, and we do believe that we facilitate the visits and the study in the UK. About 71 to about 90% of people get visas, depending on the category. We are constantly reviewing our global policy, and it is a global policy. The visa policy is not specific to Nigeria. We're moving to an e-visa system soon that should make it easier for people. They can get their visa basically on an online system. You don't need a document in your passport. You can take your passport back. And there are also options to apply for faster visa services as well, and lots of online guidance. And we're also constantly warning people against the risk of sort of scams as well, which does come up from time to time. Absolutely. So we think that there's a good visa offer there, and we'll keep working on it. Okay. And in kind of tandem, we'd quite like to see some improvements in Nigeria's visa system as well, so more British businesses can come and invest in Nigeria.
We're always welcome. We're always welcome. Trust me.
Yeah.
Let me still go on to education sector. I know that the UK has been a strong partner when it comes to Nigeria's education sector. What are the key areas of focus in this collaboration?
It's a great question. So we've got fantastic higher education links, which are growing all the time. And we had a recent delegation that came, our Department for Business and Trade led something called the Transnational Education Mission to Nigeria in November last year. That 11 universities came from the United Kingdom and ran alongside the British Council's Going Global sort of higher education conference to forge closer ties between our higher education sector and Nigeria's tertiary sector, looking to create partnerships and to offer guidance and share expertise to create a framework for that would benefit both countries in the tertiary sector. So there's strong momentum following that now, and we're looking to develop a better regulatory framework for UK universities who want to come here and develop higher education partnerships, and including on research and curriculum design.
Okay. Now, earlier you spoke about Nollywood and the role of Nollywood.
Yes.
I know that the UK and Nigeria, we share strong cultural and creative ties. How is the UK supporting Nigeria's creative industries?
So this is an area which we're really passionate about, and which we have a great partnership in the creative industries. So we are very committed to a strategic partnership of lasting mutual benefit, and we have in the last few months had 2 creative trade missions come to Nigeria, and they've been focused on the film industry, where we'd like to have an MOU to take forward film production, TV and fashion, retail and beauty. So we're very much in that space. And when our Foreign Secretary came in November, he was delighted to visit Artex and see the great opportunities and the great kind of creativity on display there. So we're very proud of our collaboration, and we want to grow it. It's one of the fastest growing sectors in Nigeria, which we would like to support.
On a light mode, have you tasted Nigeria's jollof rice?
Of course. Hasn't everyone? It's the best in West Africa.
Is the best. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. Is the best. Nigeria's jollof rice is the best in Africa, not just in West Africa. Gill, how can the UK and Nigeria advance its bilateral relations?
So I think the first thing I say is through partnership and mutual respect. In a world where discourse has become increasingly intemperate and unpleasant, we can talk with each other in that framework of the long-standing relationship and the people-to-people ties that we have, with mutual respect and in partnership, looking for the concentric circles between us where we can both benefit. And for example, we've got very high level links, and our king met His Excellency the President in September last year, and we've had many visits between our two countries, 9 visits, high level visits from the UK into Nigeria, including our Foreign Secretary last year, and our Foreign Minister and Foreign Minister developed a mutually respectful relationship that's growing. One area that we would really like to collaborate more is on economic growth. It's a priority for our country. It's a priority for President Tinubu. He's been very clear about that. We have total trade in goods and services of 7.5 billion at the moment across a number of different sectors. We'd like to grow that so that Nigeria can become our biggest trading partner. At the moment, it's the second after South Africa. And there are a number of different areas: education, agriculture, healthcare, infrastructure, IT, and the creatives we just talked about, where we can see great potential for more collaboration, and we hope that we'll be able to leverage the trade and investment partnership we have to grow that relationship, and that we can do things on both sides to encourage further investment and trade.
So before I have your final words, there are things I just wanted to mention here. First is that Africa's economy, you said this, and we believe, and I agree with you, Africa's economy will grow when women are involved. And I personally want to seize this opportunity to urge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to champion the Special Seats Bill. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please champion the Special Seats Bill. If you do, then we would have more women, our economy will grow, and this will work in line with your mandate. Gill, this is the first time you're visiting a radio station in Nigeria. Thank you for making Women Radio the first. We are the only radio station dedicated to women and their families. We do a lot of first things. So thank you for visiting Nigeria, for visiting Women Radio. Your final words.
Oh, just very much thank you for having me. It's been a great privilege to be on your radio show, and please invite me back. I think we'll have more to talk about in this space as the months go by.
We would definitely invite you back here, Gill. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, Management and Staff of Women Radio, I thank you, Her Excellency Gill Leather, British Deputy High Commissioner, for coming into the studios of Women Radio. I am Toun Okewale Shonaya, and I wish you all the very best in Lagos before you go back to Abuja.
Thank you, Toun.
Thank you, Gill. Thank you.